Hi everyone, you're watching Good for the Game TV and I'm Donald Trump coming to you live from Johannesburg. I've no idea what's happened to the colour. I always do look a bit orange on these programs, but this is just ridiculous. Something happened between Gary's show and this one. Anyway, you're watching the Handicap Rugby Chat That Matters. Try and ignore the orange face looking at you and let's talk rugby betting. We've got the Rugby Championship and Currie Cup to look forward to. We'll also touch on the international taking place between the New Zealand, Maori and Fiji. But let's not waste any further time. Before you do anything, though, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, go down below the video, hit the subscribe button, and you'll get all of our videos, including, of course, Tour de France previews for each and every stage. Well, looking really forward to the rugby this weekend, though. Last week we had 3 Currie Cup matches. We did pretty well on those. Henrik in particular was in top form, but it's going to be good to have Rugby Championship back as well. And let's start with Henrik Swart. Henrik, good to have you back on the show, and I know you got one of those weekends where you're not going to be watching as much rugby as normal.
Yeah, Brent, nice to be back on. We started off the Currie Cup pretty decently. I love the Currie Cup. It's a great tournament to make some money. The bookies aren't that sharp on that, so we've got a bit of an edge. I'm off on a fishing trip this weekend, so I'm going to miss all the Currie Cup games, but our weigh-in for the fishing competition is about 4 o'clock on Saturday evening, and it's at a pub, so we will be able to watch the 2 rugby championship games. I'm really looking forward to both of those. I have a strong feeling in one of them, not that strong in the other one. But yeah, even though I won't be able to watch the Currie Cup, I will have bets on them, and I've got 1 or 2 strong bets on the Currie Cup as well.
Oh, we're looking forward to getting those later in the show. Let's welcome Couch Critic. Couch, you've also been playing a lot of Tour de France. Like me, I think also maybe struggling for winners. I stand to be corrected. I had a 45-1 second place today, but you don't get paid out for those. You're looking to make some money in the rugby, no doubt.
No, definitely. It's always fun having a nice long odds for especially us rugby punters. You got a nice 50-1 or 60-1, so it's good fun, but often they end up second or third or something like that, so it's a bit frustrating. Let's go to those that we think we got closer to bankers. It was a great first week there on the Bet Olam calls. It was 3 out of 3. We expected strong performances from Griquas and Puma, so that was beautiful. And just on this show we missed the 1-12, but otherwise with a late score, by the way. But otherwise it was a very good weekend. So let's try and keep it going.
Right. Well, let's start with you, Couch. We'll start with South Africa against Australia. That's taking place in Johannesburg on Saturday, and we'll talk about things like points lines and that. But let's get to the handicap first. Betting opened -6.5. There was obviously lots of speculation during the week about exactly what South African side would run. And credit, I must say, to Jared Wright in our live chat on our Monday night show, Use It or Lose It, who correctly called Eben Etzebeth to be the captain. But the general, well, we know it's not the first choice box side. And the way the betting markets appear to have reacted is that there has been money for Australia. They've come in from +6.5 to +4.5. And the question is that an overreaction or the punters here on the right track?
Well, Brent, there was no one left that could be captain except Eben Etzebeth, and that was what caught me off guard. As we've chatted on the other show previously, I thought Rassie would do a little bit more of a measured approach, and he was talking about not having an A team and a B team, but let's be honest, this is very much a B team. The only difference is he's given a couple of guys, Peter Steff and Eben Etzebeth, a run who he feels are short a gallop. So he's given them a bit of game time, but for the rest, it's definitely his B checkers there, and he's just testing a couple of guys to see whether what they've got in the tank and whether they could add value. So they've got a lot to play for, which is obviously the good thing. But the bad thing that I don't like about that is I always feel it's better to phase a few guys in instead of changing the whole team. So now you've got a Herschel Yankees and he's playing behind the Francois Lowe, who doesn't play 8 a lot. And outside him, he's got Elton Yankees, who even on his best day could be a bit crazy. And Elton on his outside has got a guy who hasn't played a lot of international rugby. So for me, that's a little bit of an issue there. I would rather have, if you're going to play a new guy like Yankees, lead him in next to Dwayne Vermeulen in front of him and Pollard outside him. That's the kind of thing that I expected. So I was a little bit disappointed in that, and I can understand the bookies going the way that they did. Looking at the Australian team, I mean, you've got that Currie, Kuredrani combination in centres, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. I think it's probably two of their best players, especially Currie. So that's going to be interesting, and some decent changes there in the loose chair as well. So it should be a good game, and I must say this handicap is well placed. I think I'm hoping Henrik is going to say this is the game that he's also not strong on, because I'm a little bit undecided. I'm thinking 1-12 is the way to go. You've probably just got to decide where it's going to go. I'm still saying that the home team is probably the one to back. So it's Springboks 1-12. But I wouldn't put anyone off. And the other one is to have a little flutter. I think you mentioned it as well. The half-time, full-time, maybe Australia to start well, get ahead, half-time, Boks to take it full-time.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the Boks do have quite a proud record in Johannesburg. You've touched on my bet that I actually put in the good for the game forum there, Kutch. I said South Africa by 1-12. I think it was around about the 16-10 mark at Sporting Bet. But let's see what Henrik thinks about this game, if it's one of the ones that he's going to get stuck into.
No, I'm not that confident in this game, Brent. I share your thoughts and Kutch's thoughts and Gary's thoughts on the previous show as well. Gary said he won't take the minus here. I also think the minus. Yeah. Okay, let me say it this way: if this guy, Gary said, if this game was at any other venue, if you're all over Australia, if this game wasn't at altitude and it was at the coast, I would also have been all over Australia to win the game. Both teams, bit of untried combinations, bit of mix and match teams. And yeah, I just can't take the Boks in the minus here. I think that 1-12 of Couch and the one you picked in the preview, that's a good bet, and you get some decent value. You don't have to put on a lot of money to have a nice bet on the game. I think the Boks will do enough to win the game, but I can't take them on the minus. I think if you don't want to go for the Boks 1-12 and you feel Australia has a chance, go for the plus. But the minus is definitely not a bet for me. Yeah, there will be a lot of emotion with James Small and Johnny Clegg, especially. I think the Rassie might use that as a bit of motivation. And obviously, there's a few guys that has to play for the World Cup spots. There's only 31 places available, and a few of these guys that's going to play on Saturday won't make the World Cup squad, so they have to play for that. But yeah, I can't take the Boks and the minus. Then yeah, can we touch on the points as well?
Let's go on to points. I haven't seen anything yet. I don't know if you have.
No, I haven't seen anything, but I've got a bit of feeling. Ellis Park is normally high scoring, but I think with all the untried combinations in both teams here, I think the unders might be a runner. I'm hoping for anything over 50. So yeah, if I can get any price over 50, if I can get like 54, 55, that'd be great. But I'm happy to take unders on anything over 50 here. Paul Williams is the ref. He's definitely not an overs ref. And yeah, something I didn't catch up on, and Justin alluded to that. Ellis Park has been the field has been come in about 2 meters, the width of the field. So I remember you said something about that.
Yeah, it was last week when they played against Pumas. The commentators kept referring to the narrow field, and you could actually see where the old line was and where the new line was. And look, fortunately, it didn't affect our bets last week, in terms of points and that sort of stuff. But it definitely, you could see the players didn't have enough space. And I'm interested, Henrik, because I thought it was hopefully a once-off. I didn't realize it was going to be carrying forward. Do you know what the reasoning is for that?
I'm not really aware of that. I wasn't aware of that, and when Justin, we spoke a bit about it, and when he alluded to that, I remember you said something on the chat about that as well. I'm not sure whether it's for this game as well, for the Boks test, but yeah, if it is, it's definitely a concern for overs. Yeah, and I just deal with the untested combinations. I just can't go overs here, even with the game being at altitude. I'm happy to go under anything over 50, and I'm stronger on the points than on the plus or the Boks 1-12 here.
Well, if anyone does know the points line, let us know. I'll tell you where I'm projecting this points line. I think they're going to price up at about 51.5, 52.5 here. So I think you might well be going there for unders. I just say quickly popping onto the live chat. Emil Korf says Stonehouse requested that, but it's not, because they did say that Stonehouse wanted the narrow field, but it's not according to RB standards. But that in itself seems bizarre last week, that you allow a visiting coach to request a narrow field. Or unless, maybe, Emil, what you're saying is that the usual field is not according to RB standards. So, yeah, I suppose that then might make a bit of sense. But let's go to Couch to wrap up on this game. Couch, you got anything in the try scorers markets for us here?
Brent, I think just on that one, I don't know if it's a little bit like cricket, where you've got a minimum width and you've got a maximum width, and it's obviously not as big as the difference that you get in cricket. But I don't know how it works. Probably a competition would usually have like a bylaws kind of thing of what width will be. So probably Ellis Park and the Boks will look to go to its normal width, and then it depends on what the competition says. I'm sure that's going to be something along those lines. But yeah, on try scorers, as we said, we're probably going to look at the narrative that the Boks are going to finish a little bit stronger. So maybe look at someone off the bench for the Springboks as a last try scorer. Maybe a Marshall could see it to come back into the team and score one. He gives a little bit of a double option, either possibly being at the back of a rolling maul, or just that grunt and rumble it over the line from close range. He's a pretty tough oak. So I think Marshall Coetzee would be a last try scorer, a nice little go there.
Excellent. Well, let's wrap that game up. I'm also not too bullish, but I'll be looking at the points markets closer to the time. Henrik, let's start off with you then. We've got the kickoff Argentina and New Zealand, which thankfully is at a reasonable hour for us. In fact, we get to watch a Currie Cup game, a rugby championship, and then almost straight into another rugby championship game in Argentina. Teams have been named now for this one. I see the handicap has shifted, but only very slightly in Argentina's favor. I saw plus 13.5 early in the week. We're looking at about 12.5. We've talked about this game for quite some time. I think the three of us are all kind of pulling for Argentina to win this.
Yeah, I think they have a decent shot here, Brent. I like them strong on the plus here. I think they've got a shot at winning their first test against the All Blacks with the Crusaders players not involved. And I know it's no given that the Jaguares success will be translated into the national team, but they basically have the same team that's been playing together for the whole Super Rugby season, except for like 5 guys coming into the squad and 2 into the starting 15. So they've got some continuity, and that's the only team of the 4 that's got a bit of continuity going into the rugby championships. And I think they will take a bit of momentum with them, even though they lost the final. They played well before that, and yeah, it's tough playing in Argentina. That crowd is very hostile. So it won't be easy for the All Blacks. I would be surprised if the All Blacks win by double figures here. I would actually be shocked if they win by double figures. I think if they win, it should be a really close one. But I really think Argentina's got a decent chance at winning this game. I took some more 24-1 over last weekend. Took some of my Currie Cup winnings and took some more 24-1 on them to win the title. So I'm decently involved on Argentina to win the title. Yeah, and then looking at the points, there was rain predicted earlier in the week for this game, but yeah, that's disappeared off the radar. So it should be a dry game, and with 8 o'clock South African time, that should be an afternoon kickoff in Buenos Aires. Angus Gardner is the ref. He's an overs ref. So if I can get a quote of less than 20 on Argentina points, I will take the overs there. The All Blacks are normally strong on defense, but they've got a few untested combinations here. So yeah, I'll take overs on Argentina points if I can get anything under 20. But I'm very strong on the plus. Yeah, I got plus 14.5, but I'll still take the plus 12.5 currently available. I can't see the All Blacks winning by double figures here.
Well, I'm pleased you're confident, because I got on this early, and as the week has gone on, I've got less and less confident. And I just needed Henrik's little pep talk there, Couch, to convince me that all is well in the world and we're back on track. You're still on board the plus?
Brent, I'm definitely in the same camp as you. As I've been taking this for the past 3 weeks and loading up, and I actually thought that this Kiwi team would be a little bit worse, or a little bit lighter than they are. I mean, you look at this as being a little bit of a B squad almost, and you've got Sam Kane and Vaya Fafita and Adi Sevilla as your loose trio. I mean, that's just frightening. It worries me. Dane Coles, obviously everyone knows what he's can do, and halfback combination, Aaron Smith and Bowden Barrett, which could be the best halfback combination in world rugby at the moment. it's a little bit frightening. Obviously, they've got Severies in there as a new cap, but Ben Smith at the back again. You don't get much better than him in rugby, so it's crazy. And then we know that the Argentines aren't that strong up front. So even if the All Blacks do try one or two things in the pack, it's not like it's going to make such a big difference. And then behind them, Brody Retallick and Tui Peloto. I mean, that's a very, very solid second row to contend with. So I am a bit concerned, but then fortunately I did see the Argentine team as well, and as long as old Pablo Matera is there, we should be good. So I'm very happy about that. He's there and all the regular guys. And the only big question there is with Nicolas Sanchez coming back and playing, slotting straight into fly off. So that's going to be the big call. How's he going to do back in that setup? All of the others have enjoyed quite a lot of success, and he comes in a crucial position. So the quicker he can find his feet and settle back down into that crucial position, that's going to be key for us. And I still think that the big thing is that opening 20 minutes. They really got to rush the New Zealanders, rush them with the rush defense, and get in their faces, get the crowd involved. And if the All Blacks score early in those first 20, then it could be a long day for us. But I still think that, as we all said, the plus 12 is the way to go if you haven't gone there yet.
Excellent. So we're united on this one. Good chance this is going to be the Good for the Game newsletter pick. I have put a link down below this video. If you do want to subscribe to our newsletter, it's totally free. Comes out on a Friday. We share our bets. And, hopefully can add a bit of value to your weekend. Obviously, no guarantees. We did at least manage, thanks to Hendrik, to hit the Pumas on the plus last week. Well, that's it for Rugby Championships then. It's going to be very interesting. But from a punting point of view, it's quite often that we actually get more involved in the Currie Cup than the Rugby Championship. And let me go down to Hendrik then and talk a bit of Currie Cup, Hendrik, because we've got 2 games tomorrow. And the first game is Griquas up against the Pumas, and that's taking place in Kimberley. Now, Griquas very impressive last week in beating the Sharks. The Pumas, let's face it, they should have beaten the Lions. I don't know how they let that one slip. And there's always quite a rivalry between these teams. They met in the Supersport final. Griquas beat them then. I think that was on neutral territory, but I stand to be corrected. But it should be a good game. But I noticed the weight of money appears to be coming for the Griquas here.
Yeah, Brent, Griquas were very impressive beating the Sharks. For me, it wasn't bad Sharks. I saw a lot of guys saying it was the Sharks were poor. The Sharks weren't that bad for me. It was just Griquas. They were brilliant. They looked very well coached. One of my favorite coaches, Brent Graham, and it seemed like they had the edge in every facet of the game. They had the edge in the scrums and the lineouts. George Whitehead really controlled the game well from 10. His up and unders in the wet conditions were pinpoint. They got the ball back most of the time. I was really impressed with Griquas. The Pumas, they led by, like you said, by 18 at one stage against the Lions. Even then, I wasn't impressed by the Pumas. The Pumas, they didn't impress me, and that really says a lot about the Lions. So I'm looking forward to the Lions playing again. So I think being at home, the Griquas should win this by double figures. I think the -8 that's still available at some bookmakers is the way to go. Yeah, medium confidence on this. Just because it's the 2 minnows in the Currie Cup, I'm not that confident, but Griquas really look good. So I think the minus is the way to go. Yeah, and Kimberley normally high scoring ground, and it's a 5 o'clock kickoff. So there should be more than enough light, at least for the first half, natural light. And Aya Jacobs, the ref, is a bit of an overserve in my book. So if I can get a nice quote on the Griquas overs, I'll say like 30, mid-30s on the, probably mid-30s on the points. I would go overs here, and even maybe a bit under overs on total points if it's 60 or lower. But it might be bigger than that with these 2 teams playing. But I think maybe on this one the handicap is the better bet.
Right, Catch, this game for you. I mean, for me, I must say it screams high scoring. We haven't got any points lines yet, but I imagine the quote going to be around about 63 points for this game. So perhaps going to be difficult to get carried away. What do you think on this one? Are you on the Griquas minus?
Yeah, definitely, Brent. I think this is the game that they know they got to make a statement. If you're realistic and you want to be a contender, you can't slip up against one of the other minnows. They basically got to knock the Pumas out of the competition. Yeah, I think if if you Griquas and you lose this game, it's game over. So they'll be very motivated for this one, and I think they, as Henrik is spot on there. It's medium confidence for me on this one, and he's spot on in terms of the way it's going to go there. I just think they'll do the business. I was hoping for the halftime, full time to be something like 8-10. And then I'd back that with confidence. I just don't see Griquas slipping up, but obviously with a little bit of a higher handicap, you could get a late score. And as we've all said now, it should be a high scoring affair. We're not sure about whether it's going to be high scoring enough, but to cover the quotes coming out. But I think it should be a good game. But Griquas definitely to have the edge there. I just think they're a much better team than Pumas. Obviously, Stonehouse isn't a bad coach, but I think Griquas are lined up for this competition better than the Pumas, and Griquas actually believe that they can get somewhere, whilst Pumas probably not as much.
Right, Catch, well, unless anybody's got anything else to add on this game, let's
Oh, sorry, yeah, Brent, and then I do have a try scorer on this one. I've got asked for a price on Waldemar Arnoldi to be Volmar Arnoldi to be the last try scorer at 22-1. He came on last week off the bench. He's obviously guess it, he's a hooker, so I'll take him last try scorer at 22-1.
I remember learning about Voltamada at primary school. I can't remember. I'm sure it was a ship's name of Jan Rebex or something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, you got him as your top try scorer there. Couch, let's stick with you then for the next game. We've got the Bulls against the Cheetahs. The handicap here generally around about -5.5. The Bulls at home against a Cheetah side that we haven't seen in action yet.
Yes, Ben, I think obviously the tough thing for us is that it's a team that we haven't seen in action yet. They promised to have a first choice outfit or a strong Pro 14 kind of look to it, and they didn't disappoint. It's pretty much Oxenche and Dweba and Jan Meyer and those guys that you'd expect. Skuman, I'm not really going to name him as too much of a positive. I'm not that big a fan. And Bakswani on the wing. So there's some decent players there. But I just think the Bulls, they didn't really show what they could do last week, but I think they'll be better this week. They've still got Burger Widendal, Roscoe Speckman, Cornel Hendricks, strong loose trio. And this week they've got Vian Herbst back who missed out at last minute last week. So hopefully their scrum should be a lot better this week. And I think that's where they suffered a lot. So they're going to turn things around this week. And I'm very strong. Probably my strongest bet of the weekend is the Bulls on the first half handicap. I think the Free State will take some time to get into the game, take some time to get going for the season. The Bulls are back at Loftus and they're a different beast there. Bulls -2.5 halftime handicap.
Right, and just Emil saying on the live chat, the current Bulls against the ex-Bulls. Henrik, Couch likes the Bulls there. I must tell you, the more I think about this game, the more I think that the Bulls will get it right. You know, they had long periods of possession against Western Province. They just didn't seem to click it together, and credit to Province last week. They defended well. But I'm on the Bulls minus here, and you?
No, Brent, Western Province are normally pretty good on defence in the Currie Cup, and that's thanks to Norman Laker, the defence coach, who was the defence coach for the Stormers as well. So that's probably why the Bulls didn't score more points. I'm on the plus here. I'm not strong in it, but I think Free State on the plus here. I'm not sure what to expect from them, but I like the team they've picked, and I think they can keep it close here. The Bulls, they didn't convince me with the set pieces at Newlands. I'm not sure whether that's probably more strong Western Province set pieces, especially the scrums. But I wasn't that convinced by the Bulls, and I think. But like I said, I'm not strong here, so just because I'm not that strong, I'm going for the plus here, and I'm not sure what to expect from the Free State. But yeah, this game, on the points of all the games that we have this weekend, I've got the strongest feeling on the points here, and I think over some total points will be a great shot here. I think we might get a quote of mid-50s, which is great, because I think this should be mid-60s. So I think total points here over should be a great bet.
Right, going to be interesting to see what the quote comes out for that one. Couch, you got anything more on this game before we move on? You've already given us Voltamada for this one, eh?
No, that was in the previous game. He's actually got a deal now with the Cheetahs from next season, or from the start of the other tournament. But Now I've got Tiaan Meyer. I'll take Tiaan Meyer as anytime try scorer. He's quite nippy at scrum half. He's the captain. I think he's gonna try and lead from the front, and it's almost I think 3.5 to 1 for him to score anytime. So I'll take, and as Hendrik is also, I think there'll be quite a few points and quite a lot of tries. So he's got a decent charge. Obviously, Mxwane on the wing is a huge try scorer, but his odds on understandably on great.
Yeah, I must say, if I can get a nice quote on Bulls points, I'll be climbing into that. They let me down last week against Western Province, but it was a good weekend overall. But I'm fancying the Bulls quite strongly, although perhaps pulling myself back a little bit when I hear the likes of Hendrik and also some of the guys like Be Strong on the live chat suggesting that they do like the cheaters on the plus there. There's one more game taking place, and that is on Saturday. That will be 2 o'clock on Saturday. It's an early kickoff because, of course, of the Rugby Championship game. And here we got the Sharks against Western Province, and I've seen plus 4.5 Sharks, plus 2.5 Sharks. So Province are the favourites. And Hendrik, let's start with you there. What do you make of this one? There was an awful performance by the Sharks last week. Can they lift themselves against this Western Province side, or have the bookies got it right?
No, Brent, this handicap is way too low. Western Province will win this easily. They'll win by double figures. This is my strongest feeling on the handicap, even stronger than Argentina. I see Western Province really winning easily here by more than 2 converted tries, even maybe. So I'm very strong on Western Province here. They really look well coached by Dobson against the Bulls. The set piece is very strong. And they haven't got the altitude against them here. It's at the coast as well in Durban. Yeah, I like the team that Western Province picked again. And the Sharks, they were, like I said earlier, they weren't that bad for me. It was more good Griquas, but they've still got a few new combinations in the team. And yeah, off the field with it. Prius leaving now, everything. I'm not sure everything's right in the Sharks camp yet. So yeah, I like Western Province here, and with the handicap being so low, I think the Sharks points might be too high as well, especially with the good Western Province defense. Even though it's a 2 o'clock kickoff, so on the points I will be looking at unders on Sharks points if I can get mid-20s.
Right, and Neil in the live chat is saying Western Province minus 2.5 is a gift. Let's go down to Couch Critic. Couch, I didn't know that Hendrik was going to come out so strong on this particular game. What are your views?
No. That's, you can't go strong enough on this one. This is the best play of the weekend. I don't want to sound like a oracle voice here. It's definitely my favorite play. It's this. I don't know what game Hendrik watched to say that the Sharks went shocking in Durban. They were absolutely poor. I haven't seen them play that badly in a long time, and I've watched a lot of their games. It was very, very bad. They've actually made one change to the team, and that's Reno Smith in for Fussy. That's actually making the team worse. This is a poor Sharks outfit. I don't know what's happening at the moment there, but I'll usually try to not overreact because of the previous weekend, because often bookies overcorrect, but I think they didn't this week. 2.5 that's crazy talk. You gotta get on that. I've taken minus 8.5 extended handicap. I think it's 2 to 1 or something like that. It's what I'm getting on. Yeah, I think it's worth going for the alternatives and anything close to. I think, as Hendrik said, I think they'll win by double digits. So it's anything under 10 is where my money is going to go, and it's definitely my favorite punt of the weekend.
Well, we got minus 2.5 run for East, minus 2.5 available at Sunbet. That's what I'd looked at just before the show as well. And Hendrik just confirming there, fire the Western Province minus 2.5, guys. And he likes the Western Province Griquas a double as well. Guys, anything else on the Currie Cup before I touch on the international match? Anything else from you on this one, Hendrik?
No, that's all for me on this one.
You happy with that as your best? And Couch, anything else from you before we move on?
Yeah, I just usually I think it's obviously I like Jaco Kutsia as a first try scorer. That's always where I like to go. He's a machine. And then if you want anytime try scorer, Ruan Nel, he's just got a knack for scoring tries. So Ruan Nel, I think he's about 2.5 to score, or actually 2 to 1 to score anytime. So yeah, Ruan Nel is my play.
Excellent. Well, we'll come back and wrap up the best bets at the end, although I think anybody watching the show will have a good idea where your guys' best bet is going. But let's just talk quickly about the international match. I haven't had a good chance to look at it, but it was raised on the Good for the Game forum. And I saw as the New Zealand Maori, there was some early -4.5, -5.5 against Fiji. Now, the sides played, I stand to be corrected here, they played a week or so ago, and Fiji ran over them. But I think that game was potentially in Fiji, and there's been plenty of changes to the Fijian side. Henrik, is that correct what I'm saying there?
Yeah, Brent, it was in Fiji, and they picked their strongest side there. All the European players playing, and this week they made a lot of changes. I think 10 changes in total, and this weekend's coming game is in Rotorua, which is Maori country. The Maoris, their team is pretty much a lot the same. I think 1 or 2 changes or something like that, but a lot the same than the previous week. So yeah, I'm with you, and I think Gary liked it as well. The -6.5. I took some -5.5 earlier this afternoon at Bet Exchange before it moved, and I took some more 6.5, and I see it's at 7.5 now at Sunbet. And this is a strong fancy of mine as well. I can't take all the credit. I had a chat with Thoughts on Sport, which is Neil Wigwerf. I see he's commenting here as well. He raised this one as well. And he was confident, and I like it. So, yeah, this is a strong fancy of mine as well. I think the Maoris will win by double figures easily, yeah.
Excellent, yeah. It's got all the makings of a cracking bet. I'm going to be getting on that one as well. I wasn't on it yet. Just as a matter of interest, Henrik, quickly, do you know what the betting was for the last game? Did the Maoris go in as favourites against the Fijian side?
Yes. Well, it was the same. It came out at 6.5, Maoris -6.5, and this week it came out the same again. Yeah.
Excellent. So you're getting...
I didn't have a bet last week. I actually told one of my friends I liked the plus 6.5 Fiji, but I ended up not betting on it. But yeah, this week it came out the same again, -6.5 Maoris.
Well, Kach, I don't know if you've got anything to add to that other than you're probably logging onto your account right now to back it if you haven't done so already.
Yeah, no, I'll take your word for it. Yeah, on the show, I watched the highlights, and every time I looked up, Fijian was running with the ball in one hand and sidestepping 3 oaks. So it got pretty messy there for the Maoris. But I agree. I mean, in the first place, they'll just not get away with putting in 2 poor performances and just losing. I mean, there's a lot of pride in playing in that jersey as well. So I'm sure they'll be keen to rectify things. And as you guys said, if there's Fiji don't have that kind of depth where they can just make 10 changes and still be at the same strength. So it's definitely it's all good sound reasoning, and I'll be throwing that into a few multiples with those other 2 strong Currie Cup fancies, it sounds like.
Excellent. Well, let's finish with you then, Kachin. What's your best bet of the weekend?
Now, without doubt, the province one. Take a extended handicap if you want. If you can get the 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, whatever's the best you can get, load up on that, or add that in, or add a province win into some multiples, and then go for a alternative handicap as well. I'm pretty confident. Henrik has got Janssen van Rensburg. I've got Dobson, and Dobson's taking me all the way this season.
Excellent. All the way to Kimberley for the final against Griquas. We can't wait to go and watch that. Henrik, what's your best bet?
Yeah, I'm with Couch. I also like the Western Province very strong. So the Western Province -2.5, take it while it's still available. That's good. I think it should move. There should be lots of money for Western Province. Yeah, Western Province -2.5, and then let's go. I just want to mention that I like Argentina plus strong as well, and then the points at Loftus. But Western Province.
Well, I must say, I was leaning towards Argentina as my best bet, but after you boys have convinced me, the -2.5, here we go. That's definitely popping in some form or another if it's still available in the newsletter tomorrow morning. Thanks, everyone, for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Look out for our other betting previews. Let's hope for a nice, profitable rugby weekend. I could do with one. Things aren't going particularly well with Rory McIlroy in the golf. And, yeah, let's just say I made a bet in the Tour de France in midweek on the green jersey race, or the race without Peter Sagan, and that... I tell you what, you couldn't script the way this week has gone for me. So I'm looking forward to betting with some proper money and betting on the rugby. Couch, Henrik, thanks very much for joining us. And also, thanks to all the guys in the live chat. Much appreciated, gents.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.